The resonance carves its way through the thing that had been Hartman, vibrating, remolding. The sound changes the darkness, and the darkness changes the sound. They both changed what remained of Hartman. They all turned into something else. A third thing. The sound made darker. The darkness made louder. Hartman was stretched as anyone when seen from out of time, like a worm through time. Almost an Ouroboros, a spiral, a maelstrom. The gravity well of a black hole, twisting inward, tightening, taking you deeper and deeper to the bottom, the heart, and through to the other side. The third thing said, when you hear this, you will know you're in new you. He said, we build you till nothing remains. He said, under the conceptual reality, behind this reality, you must want these ways to drag you away. He said, baby, 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 yeah, orange peel. The third thing was a monster. He'd tear apart any ordinary person crossing his path. Now he crashed out of darkness toward Faden. There was nothing ordinary about Faden.
So that was a hotline message from Alan Wake typing up the story of AWE. And I believe we received that sometime towards the end of the last episode. And this time around, we're actually going to be able to craft the new weapon form, Surge, which is a little bit like Charge, except with more remote detonation. It fires sticky bombs, and you can individually detonate all of the bombs, or you can just pop them off one at a time like a grenade launcher. So it has a bit of utility. Since this is still level 1 and we don't have enough of the new resource to craft level 2 or level 3 yet, it's going to be a little bit on the underpowered side for now. But as we make our way back up and talk to Langston some more, and make our way through the next couple of sections, we should be able to at least get that up to level 2. And for now, we'll show it off and see how useful it is, and maybe fall back on our primary on the grip form. So, about what Wake was describing there, I love, first off, that he wrote Hartman's line, the orange peel bit of the hiss incantation that we heard, that we first heard Hartman uttering. Also, the relationship between the hiss and the darkness and how they shape each other, and deformed Hartman into something that's neither darkness possessed nor strictly hiss.
Langston, it's me, Jesse.
I know. I can see you on the monitors. The cameras in there haven't worked since we sealed that sector off a couple years back.
Let me guess. You sealed it because of the monster guy.
Wait, did you see Dr. Hartman? Jesus, I really wish you hadn't opened that fire break. Okay, listen, you need to find Hartman and kill him before he gets out into the Bureau.
That thing is a person?
He was a person. We brought him here to study after he was, altered in an AWE. I forget the medical word for what happened, but now light physically hurts him. Do you have a flashlight?
No.
A lantern? Headlamp? Oh yeah, flare gun. Oh, Christmas lights. You could wrap them around your...
I don't have any of those, Langston.
Shit. Okay, well, I'm sure you'll think of something. I'll keep an eye on you from the Panopticon. This is kind of exciting, right?
Maybe from where you're standing.
Right, okay, well, break a leg. Oh, why did I say that?
Okay, this Hartman thing can't have gotten very far. Let's go flush him out. Langston was right. This is kind of exciting.
It's just nice to have someone to talk to, you know? Ever since I got put in charge of the Panopticon, people treat me different, like I'm crazy for wanting to work with altered items. People just don't understand the altered items like I do, you know? I don't want to brag, but it does take a very long time to connect with the items.
Doesn't want to brag.
People are making it so personal.
Right.
I mean, the teams in research handle paranatural materials every day, and no one thinks they're weird. Well, maybe that's not true. Darling is famous for being a bit out there, but When he's weird, it's charming. Altered items really aren't that frightening once you get to know them. If you figure out what they like or don't like, you know, what sets them off, then there's nothing to worry about. I guess at the end of the day, we're still just wild animals scared of our own shadows. We're supposed to be on the same team, but sometimes it feels like it's every department for themselves, like it's a race and we're all trying to be number one. If it is a race, though, I'd say Darling is a mile ahead of everyone else. He was Trench's golden boy for years, but that relationship has gotten pretty tense, or so I've heard through the grapevine. Not that I spread rumors, just, you know, people talk. Not me, though. I keep my nose to the grind. Too much work to do to focus on those kinds of things. I need to stay focused so I can get my work done and get home to feed Alfred.
He's just gonna talk forever,
can't always
isn't
make
he?
it home for mealtime, so I have my neighbor check in on Alfred at 7 o'clock if I'm not back yet. She's very nice. Her name is Maria. She's older. She came to New York in the 50s to attend school and has been here ever since. She has a couple of kids. I met them at Thanksgiving. Big family. Very nice people. Anyway, she has a key to my apartment, and she gives Alfred his dinner if I'm not home. I'm gonna have to buy her a nice fruit arrangement as a thank you after this. I'm missing a lot of Alfred's meal times. She's probably gonna have to go to the store for more wet food. I'll have to remember to pay her back. Hold on, pay back Maria for Alfred's food. Okay. Oh, one more thing. And buy her a fruit arrangement. All right, done. Are you a cat person? I don't think I ever asked. You seem like one, though. You'd like Alfred. He's very proper. Really carries himself well, you know? I named him after my favorite poet. Felt like a good fit. I got Alfred just before Sylvia died when I was at the... you know, I don't really remember where I got Alfred from. But, boy, those two did not get along. Oh, no. Sylvia thought she owned the place. Didn't like me getting in her way, scratched me more than once when I was just trying to move her food bowl. That cat was a real asshole.
Wow.
I'm realizing now that
That's
language was
kinda
not
harsh.
entirely, professional. You see, Sylvia didn't tolerate most people, or animals, or anything. And that's what I meant when I said asshole. I would never use that word about a person. It was just, hey, there's a light flashing on the console here. I gotta, check this out. I'll get back to you later.
Real smooth, Langston.
I've never listened to that whole conversation. I really like Langston. And he gets a lot of personality in this. I also love the allusions to Alan Wake, especially the Christmas light bit, because that's one of Barry's tactics for combating the darkness in that game. He wrapped himself in Christmas lights. I think everything else he mentioned was something that comes up at some point in Alan Wake. Trying to remember the headlamp. Definitely the flare gun. That was like your RPG in that. Also, those stools? For a department that's been sealed off for, I think, years now. Pretty well-maintained stools. They got the WD-40 out and everything. Now I'm just thinking of Hank Hill using a small can of WD-40 to open a larger can of WD-40. I'm glad this crossover is able to exist. Because Remedy only got the rights to Alan Wake back, or not even back. I don't think they had the publishing rights to it at any point in the first place, despite developing it. Last year in July, they got the rights. And prior to that, Microsoft owned the publishing rights, which I assume means they also just owned the IP outright. That first fight was kind of ugly. At least I can start off with this and chunk that health bar down a bit. So they'll normally dodge the first one, but if you follow up quickly enough... Ooh, and they're launching grenades at me. Which they aren't the best at dodging. If you follow up super quick with a second launch, you'll usually catch them on the rebound. And then we can just... Oh, nope. thought that was going to be in the head. He's low enough now that we can possess him. And that'll make dealing with his buddies a little bit easier too. Plus we can always just get right up close. I don't want to get too close because I don't feel like putting my shotgun attachment on. I think we can fight this mid-range pretty well. Just with grip and... shoot! 3 whiffs. I hear a grenade behind me, so I don't want to backpedal too much. Cool? Are we cool? Are we cool? Yes, indeed. Nope. Hold on. Hello, friend. Oh, he's about to regret his whole day. What a shame. Oh, and this is a good case study in using this, our new tool. You can see it's still a little bit underpowered compared to the weapons that we have all maxed out, except I think Pierce. We still only have at level 2. But you can just see the difference in stopping power. That being said, for only having the first upgrade level, we still have someone out here. For only being at level 1, it's not too shabby. You just have to watch because against more evasive enemies, it can be really tricky to land shots. You can detonate it in midair if I'm not mistaken. But honestly, there are tools that provide more utility than that for those kinds of encounters, so... I think that's just Hartman trying to spook us. So we have a grate here with a light, and then on the opposite side, getting disoriented, turning around in the dark, there's also a fence blocking us from the power from the battery we need to power the conduit, and some darkness in the way of getting to that. So through here, we just punch our way through. They really step up how much they color code the way forward with yellow in this one. Yellow is usually a pretty good indicator of where to go for progress in Control, but it's much more signposted in this one. Which works really well because the color palette of the game tends to be pretty gray. So we'll just bring this over here, and we can proceed on towards the Eagle Limited AWE. And we need to get through these two, Fra Morale and Eagle Limited, before we can move on to the main event of Bright Falls. Ooh, I'm having a rough go of it today. Died once in the earlier fight and twice on this one. So I think I'm gonna put Surge away for now. And go back to old reliable Charge. Because when you want stopping power, it can be hard to beat. Charge, Pierce, and Machete Shatter. So I know there's a healing orb. I think it's just around this corner. And before we deal with anything else, I want to take control of it. Is have to be a little bit careful about touching the floor because with all of the splodies, the floor is as good as hot lava. Also, that was a lot of... those were a lot of explosives being detonated right at my feet. Ooh, it's just such a fireworks factory, this fight. But we're still backed up by the healing friend. So there's really nothing that's going to pose us any danger. Plus, our ranger is being healed by it, too. The ranger who managed to, in seconds, get over to the sealed-off corridor, or the sealed-off sector. Oh, no, don't get up on that. I want to get into that chest. We just saw another demonstration of the Ranger's incredible teleportation powers as he warped down to meet us. And his life and his usefulness has sadly run its course for us. So now we're going to continue climbing up. Instead of taking the turntable straight forward this time, we're going to shoot a hole in the window after climbing up to the top and proceed into the office. Oh, is this... Yeah, this is the memo where the guy is convinced that the metal detectors are slowly draining his mind or stealing parts of his brain.
All right, Ati. Was this what you had in mind?
I really like these quieter, more atmospheric sections of AWE. I think I like the memos and all of the meta-narrative stuff and everything with Alan Wake too, because I feel like it helps to really make the fear and the horror more pronounced. Compared to the last DLC or even the base game for the most part. I think there are parts of this DLC that are genuinely quite chilling because it's all about the fear of insanity, the fear of losing your mind, of not being able to trust your reality. And that's always there in the game, but I think it works really well here. And especially in comparison to other games, which just kind of portray it as a generic insanity without really probing deeper or even asking, like grasping at the real-life parallels that make it a grounded fear based on something that could happen to someone. And it does so in a way that feels to me like it isn't stigmatizing mental illness, which is especially impressive because when you're talking about a fear like this, part of what you're talking about is things like psychosis, things that people have, and things that can be treated, but still things that present enormous difficulty and subjective terror in people's lives, especially depending on the severity of those conditions.
Christ.
It's not the fear that mentally ill people are scary, it's the fear of mental illness itself. And how that warps your perception of things. Makes you paranoid, makes you struggle to trust what is around you. I also like how Alan Wake and this are ways of exploring mental illness and creativity, and the intersection of those. Because artists get this kind of this rap or this stereotype as being beings of great suffering. And a lot of people have come to internalize this idea that their demons give them their edge, that they have to suffer for their art. The darkness is this force that inhabits artists specifically and alters their perception of reality until they can't really tell what's real and what isn't. And it makes them feel like it's their muse, like they need it for whatever they're doing. It goes after poets like Thomas Zane, musicians like the Anderson brothers, the old gods of Asgard, writers like Alan Wake. It even manifests as different artists, like Mr. Scratch from American Nightmare was a filmmaker. Thomas Zane, coincidentally, in AWE, claims to be a filmmaker, and that the poet persona is just a character he created for one of his films. We heard that when he was arguing with Wake earlier. in one of the, oh no, not the hotline section, in the Ocean View Motel. And we'll get more on the relationship between the two of those, but first, I have got to solve this puzzle. And come to think of it, oh no, I think I only needed 2 of these cells. I think you might need all 4 if you're going for all of the chests, but we don't particularly care about that. So now we're just going to trace the 2 yellows. Make sure there's not a button I have to hit. Okay. And then I don't think there's anything up here. So yeah, we just need to follow the 2 yellows, because this is our destination up here. This is what we need to unlock. So down. Where are you going, friend? I appreciate that they're at least not all the same color. It makes them a little bit easier to trace. And I think it's right here. Right, yep. And we're clear to go.
Reminder, the law of 3 also applies to all faucets within the oldest house. Be mindful and don't cause any aquatic misconduct. Thank you for your attention.
The more vague they are, the more ominous they are. Oh, the grating is being stubborn. You know what would be really mean? Is if they were to do this ambush, but sandwich you between enemies spawning behind you as well. Fortunately, as you can see, they don't do that. It's just a couple coming at you from down the long hallway. Let's see, because I know we picked up a couple of those resources that we need for the surge. Let's see if we can at least upgrade that once. Hopefully they give me... Oh, they didn't give me enough ability points to get the multi-launch. But yeah, we can now put another point into surge, so we should be able to fully upgrade this a little bit before the end of the DLC, so we can get a better look at its power. Oh, I'm gunning for this. That is going to do it for now. Thank you all for watching, everyone. Take it easy. Have a good one.